roll number 3 was so painful, it's ridiculous. We had... Hello my loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten, and today we are doing Februarys TBR. I'm really excited for this TBR. I have a few things that I do need to include. Some of those will be spoken about in the February reset, which would have come out before this video, so you would already know what a couple of those are. But on top of that, I just have in general books that I would like to try and fit into this TBR. So fingers crossed we can fit them in. If not, as I said, probably would have mentioned them in the reset video. And let's just get straight into it. I hope you're all doing really well. Let me know what you're going to be reading in the month of February. And let's go straight into what this game is. So it is super simple. I have a 6 coloured sided dice that I roll a minimum of 5 times. If the same colour comes up twice, we do a re-roll. So there's anywhere between 5 to 7 rolls. If the same colour comes up 3 times, it doesn't matter. It used to matter, and then my TBRs would be astronomically long, and it just never worked. So now we just do between 5 to 7 rolls. Each colour corresponds to a little ghost that sits on top of a prompt, and that is the prompt I have to fulfill for that roll. I don't tend to double up with these prompts, although I may have to start doing that. Maybe we'll see how February goes, and then maybe from March we might allow myself to double up on one of the prompts. So that's it. Very simple game. Now for one of these rolls I will have 2 books, and you get to vote between which one I should read and prioritise for the month. If I really can't decide, I get you to decide for me. That's just the way this works. Let's choose a prompt, and then we'll get round to the first roll. Let's give these a good shuffle. Honestly, looking at where we left off in January, those prompts there, they're kind of scary because there's at least, 3 that I just don't want to hit. That's just the way it is. I just don't want to hit those 3. So hopefully we get a really good prompt. Let's see. Let's go here. Okay, quite a fun prompt. It's a bright cover. Hopefully that comes up because that's a good prompt. I have a feeling that this game is not going to go the way I want it to. And the books that I would really like to read for February, I just don't think I'm going to get on here. You never know. I could be surprised. Roll number 1 for February. Orange. That is not a prompt I wanted. Never mind. Okay. So the first prompt is historical fiction. Let's go have a look at my shelves. Okay, so this shelf here is my historical fiction and a couple of contemporary and Christmas decoration that I didn't know where else to put. Historical fiction. These are the ones at the front that I haven't read yet, and none of these were particularly what I wanted to read in February. Well, we have something that could make me cry, which is what I believe, then a couple of young adult here. Definitely don't want to tackle Wolf Hall yet. The Mercies, Shadow of the Wind, Book Thief, Lessons in Chemistry. Okay, no. I'm feeling one of these 3. So we have The Clockwork Girl. I don't actually know what that one's about. I've had that on my TBR for a while. Same as Court of Swans. That's been on my TBR for over a year, maybe a year and a half now. That's interesting. I feel like this is one where her family's been wrongfully imprisoned, so that could be interesting. Or we've got My Fine Fellow, which again I got the same time as the Court of Swans, and this one is like a culinary potential romance, something else going on. I don't know. Okay, I think it's going to be between these 3. I'm going to have a quick read of the synopsis and I will get back to you on what it's going to be. Well, we're not off to the best start in the world. We had one of the ones that I didn't want to get, which is historical fiction, which definitely does not fit with any of the books that I wanted to read. But I have decided between the 3 that I was looking between to go with The Clockwork Girl by Anna Mazzoglia. This is a book that I got during the half-price hardback sale in Waterstones, which proves how long it's been because it wasn't the recent one. It was back in 2022. So it's been a lot of while. But this one, I mean, it does sound really interesting. This is set in Paris in 1750, and our main character, Madeline, she arrives at the home of the city's celebrated clockmaker and his clever, unworldly daughter. Madeline is hiding a dark past and a dangerous purpose to discover the truth of the clockmaker's experiments and record his every move in exchange for her own chance of freedom, because children are quietly vanishing from the Parisian street and rumours are swirling about the clockmaker's mechanical creations. So I feel like it's going to be a bit of a mystery vibe going on with this book, and I like the idea of the setting, so I think I'm going to go with this one. Court of Swans was a close second, I'm not gonna lie, because that one does sound intriguing. The main character's family's been imprisoned and I feel like it's a bit of a romance story potentially. I don't know, something about this one was calling to me. I'm really intrigued to see what's going on with those missing children. So it's about time I read it. Historical fiction is just a genre I don't tend to gravitate towards, but I know I tend to really enjoy it. Okay, well that's the first roll for February. Let's choose another one. I think this time I'm gonna go towards the back. Let's go here. Oh, okay, that's a good one. We have representation. But let's see what roll number 2 is going to bring us. Roll number 2. Oh, blue. Okay, that's not too bad. We can live with that. And that is thrifted. Okay, so we're having to stretch this prompt because the prompt is thrifted. Now, thrifted books are books that I pick up secondhand, except I don't have many secondhand books left. I haven't actually been shopping in a charity shop in ages. I haven't picked up any books secondhand in a little while, apart from one, which is Stoner, which I don't actually want to read yet. So a lot of the secondhand books that I've got are classic, and even then there's about 5, and I'm just not interested in reading any of those at the moment. So instead I've expanded it to also include books that were on sale. It doesn't fit the prompt of thrifted. I think I'm gonna have to change that prompt out for something else. I just don't have that many thrifted books on my shelves. I think because I'm trying to buy less, I would buy loads and loads of books from charity shops. Like I would go to them very regularly and buy loads. Like I say, I do have quite a few classics because you can always pick up classic books from there. I'm just not feeling any of the classic books that I've thrifted. The only one that would be a contender is A Pair of Blue Eyes by Thomas Hardy. This, I mean, it would be a good book to read, but I don't want to read classics in February. I don't know why. I've got 2, the readathon for February, the Tackle Your TBR readathon, I've got 2 in there, and I just don't feel like reading any more than that. So it would have been A Pair of Blue Eyes because I feel like this is the only book that I would be like, yeah, I can read that. But I also know if I put it on the TBR, I'm actually just not going to read it, so there's no point in doing that. So I think I'm going to play around with that prompt and maybe do thrifted or gifted. But there is a book that I've really been wanting to read in February. To be fair, I've been wanting to read this book for the last couple months, and so I just thought, like, let's just expand that prompt to go, let's go with a sale book, and that is Holly Black's The Stolen Heir. This was in January's pick for you to choose between a couple of different books. This one did not win at all. Like, not even close. I really want to read this. The second book is coming out in, I think, is it March? I just filmed that video, so I should know. I'm pretty sure it's March, and I really want to read this one to see if I want to get the second book. I think I'm really gonna like it. This is a duology that is a companion to the Folk of the Air trilogy, which I read and loved at the start of 2023. It was fantastic. It is all around fae and fairy, but it's the darker, grim, folklore inspired ones, which I just loved. I really enjoyed it, and this is following a perspective of somebody that I was so intrigued by in that trilogy, so I'm really pleased we're getting a book from her perspective. So as much as I'm expanding that prompt beyond what it is, that's what I'm going to do. In future, we'll do that prompt as thrifted and gifted. And I do have loads of books that I got gifted for Christmas and stuff that I do want to read, but this has just been playing on my mind and I really want to read it. And so I could either try and fit it in the rest of this game, or I could just put it in now, enjoy it, and know that I'm definitely going to be reading this book, because I'm going to read this book whether it ended up on this TBR or not. So rather than knocking another book out and not reading the book that I would have put in for this, I might as well just put this one in. It's my game, it's my rules. Why am I justifying this? I don't know. I don't think you care, but I'm feeling like I'm having to justify myself, and that is ridiculous. So let's just move on. This is what's in place for thrifted. I did get it in a sale. I got it for £5, which is really good. We need to choose another prompt. Honestly, it is kind of shocking though that I don't have any thrifted books apart from classic. That is very shocking to me, which proves actually I do read the books that I thrift. I'm still rambling about that. Let's go. What is this one? Read the first in a series. Do I need to start any more series? Of course not. Or will I? Yes. That's absolutely fine. Let's go to roll number 3. Okay, roll number 3. Orange again. Okay, so that means we have representation. We are choosing another prompt. Let's go this one. Under 250 pages, and we have our first reroll already. This game is chaos. Blue. Oh my good god. Okay, well apparently we're getting all the rerolls done now. So we have read the first in a series, and that means we've got to choose another prompt. Go for that one. A translated book, and now we'll have another reroll, which will be the last reroll for this game. Pink. A bright cover. One roll turned into 3. Okay, so looking at my shelves for a bright cover, we have got Fearsome Fairies, which is very bright, but that's a short story collection. I'm not sure if I'm feeling that. I just don't think I'm feeling any of these ones for a bright cover. But I do have a couple of books in the first of a series over here. So we do have the Atlas 6, which my sister gifted me this one, and I have still not read it. So that is a possibility. I then have this stack of books, which actually all of these would work for bright cover as well. I've got this one here, which is a mythology start of a series. This one is a Puss in Boots. I don't know if it's a start of a series though. That's a Puss in Boots retelling. And then we've got these two here, which are the first in a series. This one is like werewolves, I think, or at least like wolf shifters. And then this one has like darker death magic involved. So that could be a possibility because I do like death magic. Let's check the other side as well. Okay, so we've got, The Will of the Many. That's the start of a series, but I think I would like to do that as a potential Discord book club pick because a lot of us were interested in that. So I think I'll save that. I do have this one, The Trial of the Sun Queen. This one was sent to me by the publisher, the first and second book. I feel like this could be a really easy read after an early shift, so that is a possibility. Okay, so we've got a couple of ideas for first in a series, but what about a bright cover? I kind of want something short and fun. Actually, what is behind this one? Yes, we do have Shady Hollow, which is a very bright cover. And this is short and it would be fun. And I started it and it's cute and cozy. Okay, we'll do that for bright colour. And then I think I'm going to get you to vote on the first in a series. Let's go. Well, roll number 3 was so painful, it's ridiculous. We had both re-rolls in that one, but we did have a couple of fun prompts. So the first one is representation. Now this can mean representation disabilities, it could be representation of a mental illness, it could be representation of gay, transgender, etc. So it's just an umbrella term of if there's good representation. And for that one, I'm actually going to go with A Restless Truth by Freya Mask. Was gifted to me by Naomi, so thank you so much, Naomi. And this is the second book in a series that started with A Marvelous Light, and I loved A Marvelous Light. That is a historical fantasy romance with a really good plot line. I really like the magic, I really like the plot line that's involved around the magic, and this one I believe is going to be a sapphic romance story. So it's going to be perfect for representation, and also I'm wanting to read this one as part of my Tackle TBR readathon. There's actually this one and one other book that I'm toying between for the readathon. So I think having this as part of my TBR, because I really do want to read it in February, means that if I have started it and by the time I get around to the readathon I want to continue on with it, I can, because it fulfills that prompt for the readathon. I'll have the announcement video linked below if you're interested. Thinking I'm going to do this one and then maybe save the other book that I had as a possibility for the readathon for the next readathon or just another month, because I really want to read this one. It's got nice romance in and I just had so much fun with the first book and it's really good, and I really want to read books that kind of give me that little bit of joy right now because I'm really fed up with the cold weather and I like reading these sort of books in summer, so I'm really looking forward to reading this. Honestly, I have my winter TBR and I haven't even checked it once to see what books I should be reading, because I just want to read all the things that remind me of spring and summer because that's the weather I want. I don't know if anybody else does that, but that's what I'm doing. Anyway, so that is for representation. I'm really excited, and this one we're following Maud, who is the sister to the main character that we followed in A Marvelous Light, and this one takes place on a ship. She becomes a companion to this lady, but this lady dies on the first day there, so there's going to be a whole plot line surrounding that, bit of a murder mystery element, the pelagic plot line and the romance. Sounds like a win to me. I'm very excited for this. Okay, then we've got Read the First in a Series, and I just didn't know what to choose between, so I'm going to get you to choose. I should put the Atlas 6 as part of this because I've had that book on my shelves for so long. I've heard nothing but good things about it, but I keep putting that book off and will continue to keep putting the book off. I don't even know why, but I do. Please convince me to read it in the comments. But for this prompt, the first in a series, we are going to go with either The Trial of the Sun Queen, which is I think that's going to be like new adult fantasy romance. We are following Law, who has endured 12 long years of torment from under the Aurora King's rule. Her only desire is to escape and pay him back for every moment of misery she's endured. When a surprise release finds her in the hands of the Sun King, Law is thrust into the spotlight as she competes against 9 other tributes for the role of Queen. So it sounds really good. She's got this trials that she's going to have to go against. It sounds like, honestly, a typical fantasy book with all the common tropes, but I love these sort of books for when I'm on early shifts because it just means I can just chill out, read. I don't have to focus on really intricate plot lines. It's just a lot of fun. So I have the first book. I've also got the second book. This was gifted to me by Orbit, so thank you so much for that. So yeah, that's one of them. And then the other one is part of the book subscription that I used to get, which is The Gilded Crown by Marianne Gordon, and this one is the kind of death magic-esque book. So we're following Helivir, and Helivir is able to raise the dead. So I really like that idea, the idea of a necromancer. However, every time she raises the dead, she pays a price, because death obviously needs to take their cut. She ends up working with Princess Sullivan, the sole heir to the kingdom's throne, who is assassinated, who is always in danger, and Helivir gets told by the queen that you've got to bring her back and you are now her protector. But it's no easy thing to do because Sullivan is not easy. However, Helivir begins to fall in love with her, but we have the threat of the war, and Death will always take what he is owed from Helivir. Honestly, this one could have gone for representation as well. This is what I mean by I should probably start doubling up because this is ridiculous, and I still have the Discord book club pick, which isn't fully decided. That's going to be decided in a couple of days. Like, there's extra books that I want to fit on, so I think I'm going to have to introduce doubling up next month. But yeah, but this does sound really good, really interesting. I like the idea of a necromancer magic, and this is more like young adult romance. So we've got 2 fantasy books, 1 adult fantasy with trials, 1 young adult with necromancer magic. So please let me know in the comments below which one you think I should be reading for the month of February. I think they're both going to be good. I think these are both going to work for after my early shifts, so I can just relax to them. Let me know what you think. And then the final prompt was a bright cover, and for this one, as you saw, I'm going for Shady Hollow by Janu Black. This is a cozy murder mystery, and we're following animals. So we're in Shady Hollow, which is in a woodland, following Vera Vixen, who starts investigating a murder that's happened. It's never happened in this little town before, and we get to have moose and mice and bears, and they all live in civilized harmony, except of course now there is a murder. And we're going to be investigating. I've heard nothing but good things about this. I know a lot of you have been recommending that I should actually just sit down and read this one, and I think a nice short book to go alongside all these other ones is always going to be a good idea. So yeah, I'm really intrigued. Again, this is one that I've been putting off for a little while because I was thinking I could do like a daily reading vlog around this one, but I think I'm going to need the lightness just to pair up some of these books that are already on this TBR. And we still have 2 more rules to go, so yeah, it's going to be fun. So moving on, let's choose another prompt. And you know what? Let's just go at the front. Let's just go here. Oh, okay. That's not always what you want to see. We have the lowest rated on my TBR, so that's kind of like Goodreads, put it in Goodreads and put it in order of star rating. Always a fun time with that one, a random one. Let's hope that one doesn't come up. Let's just go to roll number 4. Roll number 4. Pink. Why? Why does it do this to me? At least I don't have to re-roll, so. Okay, lowest rated on my TBR. This game is really not liking me today. Like, not at all. Okay, so as I said, lowest rated on my TBR is where I go onto Goodreads. Now, I do have a physical TBR shelf. However, I have not updated said physical TBR shelf in absolutely ages, and I am not about to spend the time adding to it now. So we're just going to go based on what it was, which is not a bad thing because those are books that have been on my shelves for a little while, so that's a good thing. And we're just going to put it in order of the star rating, although some of these I have already read. So let me just quickly go through that. I'm going to screen record this. How do I screen record? This is a new phone. This is the first time I've screen recorded on this phone. Ah, found it. Okay, so we're in Goodreads. I need to sort by average rating, and let's go lowest rated. Ooh, oh damn. Well, okay, one of those books I've actually already read. Let's take that off the TBR. I kind of knew it was going to be this, but the lowest rated is The Kingdom is a Golden Cage, which is the Puss in Boots retelling. Oh, let me get it. Hang on. Okay, so The Kingdom is a Golden Cage by Lily Inkwood, and this is a locked library subscription book, and I have heard nothing but bad things about this book, to be fair. But this is a Puss in Boots retelling. We are following Celine. Celine is no ordinary princess, and she has no intention of being a damsel in distress. Celine has a lover, Hugo, whose cunning plan was to rescue her, is tied up in his own ambition to reclaim the lands and title that are his birthright. If only they can break the spell that binds him to the body of a cat, they will free the kingdom from the grasp of a cruel witch and live happily ever after. It sounds so tropey and basic, but it could be really good. I could enjoy it a lot more. It could be one of those ones that I'm like, yeah, you know what, I'm really gonna like this. We'll see though, because as we saw on that Goodreads, that star rating, that's low. That's really low. But yeah, we're gonna give it a try. I mean, I have a beautiful edition of it. It goes with the whole, let's have a lighter read for when I finish my early shifts or when I'm at work and things like that. So we're gonna give it a try. But this is the 4th pick, and it's the lowest rated on my TBR. But I mean, it's a fairy tale, so it could be good. I do like fairy tale reimaginings. We'll just see how this goes. You'll have to let me know if you've read it and what you actually thought of it, because judging from Goodreads, it's not doing too well. But that does mean we're on to the 5th and final roll. So we've got one more prompt and then one more book, and then we're done for this TBR game, which is not too bad. We've got a lot of fantasy romance, actually. I'm actually quite surprised at how heavy the fantasy romance is in this. Maybe we should mix it up a bit. Let's see whether the game lets us mix it up. Okay, let's go here. And this one is, oh, a retelling. See, this would have been perfect for that book. The 5th and final roll for February. Pink. Are we kidding me right now? This game sure does know how to mess with me. We've got a retelling. Let's go have a look at the shelves. So when I say I'm stumped, I am genuinely stumped. I've got no idea what to read. I do have some rereads that I could do because I have read a lot of retellings. So Christina Henry, that book is hiding all her other books, does a lot of retellings. So I could reread one of those. It's been a while since I've reread any of those. We've also got a couple up here that are retellings, but they would all be rereads. I don't know. The only other things that I've got that are retellings would be mythology retellings, which I don't know if I want to do that either. I think we're gonna go with a reread. Let's have a look at this. Okay, so like I said, behind here we've got some Christina Henry books, and they're all retellings. We've got Alice in Wonderland retelling, Peter Pan, Little Mermaid, we've got Red Riding Hood and The Horseman. So these are all retellings. I did really like Lost Boy. I've reread Alice the most recently out of all these, which was still a few years ago. I feel like The Lost Boy would be good. The Mermaid I read and I liked, but I didn't love, and I don't know whether that's changed, but I am feeling like The Lost Boy. So I could just reread this, which I did say I wanted to reread more, and this was a good book. Or going up here, I could reread The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein, which is a Frankenstein retelling, but from Elizabeth's perspective, not Victor Frankenstein. So that was really good as well. Ooh, I could do one of those. Peter Pan or Frankenstein. I will have a think and then we'll wrap up this video. Okay, so the final roll was retelling. Honestly, I feel like the last couple of rolls were literally just to have a laugh at me because I was explaining, oh, that book would work, or that's what this prompt is, and then I ended up landing on that. That hasn't happened in a while, but that is the chaos of this game. Anyway, for retelling, I have decided to go with The Lost Boy by Christina Henry. This is a Peter Pan retelling. It is a horror retelling. Christina Henry does a lot of darker books. I have to admit, I prefer all of her older work to her newer work that she's been coming out with. I think it's more intriguing. But I've just realised I am missing a book of hers on my shelves. I'm gonna have to find that. I have a whole stack of books that are hidden away and I've just realised that, but we're not changing. We're sticking with this. So yeah, so The Lost Boy by Christina Henry. I do want to reread more. That's one of my goals for this year, so it's really good that I'm putting a reread on here. And at least there's a fantasy horror rather than a lot of the other stuff that's going on. We have a massive theme going on for this month. It's been a chaotic one. So let's recap what we're reading for the February TBR. So the first book, retelling. We've got The Lost Boy by Christina Henry, a horror Peter Pan retelling. We then had lowest rated on my TBR, which is The Kingdom is a Golden Cage, which is a Puss in Boots retelling, which has not been well received. So that's going to be interesting. We then have a Bright book, which is going to be Shady Hollow, which is a cute, cozy murder mystery. For representation, we have A Restless Truth, and this is a historical fantasy romance. I'm very excited to continue on. The first book was so much fun. Then we have Thrifted, which I then changed to Sale, is The Stolen Heir by Holly Black, and this is the main book that I actually wanted to read for the month of February. I really wanted to get this on the TBR. I've really been wanting to read it. It's about time I did that. And then we have historical fiction, which I've gone with The Clockwork Girl, which is a Parisian mystery around children that are going missing, and it involves a clockmaker. Really intrigued by this one. I think this will be a nice different tone to the rest of all of this. And then of course we have the books for you to choose between for the month, which is for the first in a series. We either have The Gilded Crown, which is a necromancer YA fantasy, or this pile of books is a bit awkward. We have an adult fantasy romance with trials involved, which is The Trial of the Sun Queen. So let me know between those two books which one I should read. And this is the pile of books that I will be reading for February, which, you know, it's not that bad, let's face it. None of them are that big, and I feel like a lot of these are going to be really, really easy reads. I don't know, it feels very samey. I really should have mixed it up a bit, but it's fine. You'll have to let me know, have you read any of these? And obviously let me know which one I should read out of the two options to choose between for the month. And then on top of this, I will be having the readathon. So I've got a couple of books to read for the Tack Your TBR readathon that's happening in February. I also have a Discord book club pick. So if you ever want to take part in that, I'll have it linked below. And then I have a couple of things I want to do for certain videos, which I didn't quite manage to fit into this TBR. Quite a lot of reading to get done in this month. For now, I will stop. My battery is flashing at me. It's definitely time to stop talking. Thank you so much for watching. As said, please do vote and let me know which one you think I should read out of the two books. And let me know what you're going to be reading in the month of February and whether you've read any of these books. You know, all the usual things. So thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, then let's leave a heart in the emojis below. In the emojis below? No. In the comments below. Leave a heart in the comments below if you've made it this far. If you just don't know what you want to put, then you can put a heart. And I'm going to stop talking. So thank you so much for watching. If you feel like it, then I would really appreciate it if you would like this video, subscribe, comment. They really help the channel grow. My social media links will be linked below, and I will of course catch you in the very next video.